Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Madupe. I'm a corporate professional. I actually work as a funding analyst for a financial services company. Now today I have an exciting video where I talk about questions you should be asking in interviews. So yes, this is very important because apart from, the company trying to get to know you and whether you're suitable for the role, you need to actually know whether the company is suitable for you. Now, this is important even for graduates as well, because you don't want to be in a role whereby 2 years later down the line, or 1 year later, you realize it's not for you. It's not the industry you want to be in. It's not it's not what you, the role wasn't what you expected it to be. And it's just not for you. You're not enjoying it. So these questions will help you kind of navigate and actually understand whether this role is for you, or whether you see yourself in the role in like the next year, 2 years down the line. Another reason why it's important to ask questions is that it lets the interviewer know that you're actually very interested in the role, because they're not going to interview someone and employ somebody who doesn't ask them any question about the role. Another thing is employees actually want to see that you understand the role really well, that you really want to be in that company, that you've actually thought about the role for the long term. Asking questions allows them to know that you're very serious about the role. It shows employees that you're you know about the role really well, that you're really considering all aspects of the role and how well you're going to integrate with the firm. So with a bit about me, I've done many interviews. I've had a total of 6 corporate job offers in my lifetime. So and most of the job offers, 5 of them were actually for finance roles. One of them was an economic consultant role. So the roles stem from like fund accountant, trainee accountant, funding analyst, economic analyst, financial consultant, and they were at various different industries. So I have had these offers were like a financial services company, a management consultancy firm, an engineering company. I understand how to prepare for interviews and why asking questions are important. And I believe that because of the questions I asked, it's actually helped me, land these job offers. So let's get started. So number one question you could ask in an interview is, who will I be reporting to? The reason why this question is very important, it gives you an idea of where the role might lead you to. You tend to report to somebody who's already been in your role. So they would have probably moved up the chain. They started off at your level, if it's a graduate level or entry level. Usually they might have started at your level and now they're manager, and hence you now work under them. What I tend to do is I look at the person I'm reporting to, look at their LinkedIn profile, see how they've progressed over the years, see what they do. That way you can actually understand the kind of where your role is leading to. So for example, if you're applying for a trainee accounting role, you can see that the person you're reporting to is a finance manager. That actually means that eventually that's a position that will be open to you, and an opportunity for you to become a finance manager. And it just shows you the kind of career path that role can take you down. So I think it's very important to understand who you're reporting to. Another question you should ask in an interview is, what is the size of the team? So some teams, you can have a small team, could be 5, 4, 3 people, or you can have a really large team, 10, 11, 12 people. The size of the team actually affects how your role will progress, how your workload would be like, what the culture will be like. So what I tend to find is that with small teams, it's more intimate. I believe you learn more usually. You're closer with your team members, you're all more accountable. You tend to find that with larger teams, people within the team kind of do things that are very, very different. They have very different skills. They probably don't communicate as much. And this is just speaking in general. It doesn't mean that this is the case for every company. But it's really good to understand the size of your team. Another question to ask in an interview is, so what are the skills, or what do the people in your team, what do they do? So why this is important is because it actually shows you what you could potentially learn. So I tend to think beyond the job role. I believe a job is what you make it. So if you find out what other people within your team do, it can then give you an idea of the type of skills that you could possibly gain yourself which is very, very good, very interesting. So it could be that the people in your team, you have someone who's skilled at you know, like with programming and with coding, or you can have someone who's more skilled with the reporting side, or someone who has specialist knowledge. And I think this is really important. So it gives you an idea of what you could possibly learn, and how you could progress. And if you really feel like you'll be learning the things that you actually need to progress, not only in that role, but in the future, your future aspirations, whether that role will actually help you to reach your end goal. So it's really good to understand the type of skills that the people in your team actually have, and whether it will be readily available for you to actually learn from as well. Another question to ask is, what other teams are you going to be working closely with? Again, this is going to affect your role a lot. So if, for example, I'm working closely with the finance team, it means that I'll probably be looking at a lot of financial information. And if that's something you're into and something you want to do, then obviously that's a thumbs up for you. The other teams you'll be working with will affect the type of exposure you get. So personally, I work closely with the finance team. So then I get a lot of insight into what they do. I get a lot of insight into understanding like financial reporting and other types of information. Will you be working closely with a marketing team? So all of these things are really good for you to understand. It could be that you have interest in other areas that you're tempted to see. For example, you could be torn between working with finance and marketing. So if you're applying for a finance role, but you'd also be working closely with the marketing team, it gives you an opportunity to actually see whether maybe that could be a place that you a position that you might want to apply to. So it's really good to understand what teams will you be working with, because this will affect the knowledge you will gain as well. Another question you should ask is, what would the day-to-day tasks be at your in the role you're applying for? So now, to kind of narrow that question down, you can actually ask, okay, what are the daily tasks that won't really change? Like with some roles, the day-to-day tasks is normally different, you know, it changes, but usually with roles you find that some tasks stay the same. There will be certain things that you do on a daily basis, and this is a really good question because it can allow you to understand whether that role is for you. For example, it could be that on a daily basis you're going to be using Excel spreadsheets, or it could be that in a daily basis you're going to be doing a lot of reporting, or it could be that you'll be doing a lot of research. So this is something you're going to be doing every day. So you need to understand whether that is for you, and if it's something you feel like you will actually enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, it will be very difficult for you to last in that job. So I think it's a really good question to ask, so you can then prepare yourself and know whether that job is actually right for you. Another question to ask is, what software will you be using? This is very, very important because, again, you need to understand if you have goals to work in a certain, you have a certain desired role in the future, or you want to upgrade your skills in certain software, then you should ask what software you'll be using. Whether it could be that software is actually not a software that is used in general in other industries. It might be that particular firm is the only firm that uses that software, and so you're not really going to be gaining much skills in terms of, you won't be able to market those skills that you've gained at that role, because it's only that company that uses that particular software. So I think it's very important to actually ask, what software will you be using, and see if it's actually beneficial for you. Another question you could ask is to find out when the company's busy seasons are, because I know actually some companies have really busy seasons, and it will be great for you to know when these take place, because it could actually potentially affect other commitments you have. And it also helps you get prepared. It allows you to understand how much overtime you may need to do within those busy periods. And last but not least, a question that I always ask is, what is the culture like at the firm? So I think this is a really great question for you to understand what the company is like, because I've worked at two corporate firms now, and the culture is very, very different. So some firms you can find that is very relaxed. It could be like you have casual wear. They have a lot of games and a lot of things they do outside work. Like certain firms are really chatty, people talk to each other a lot, but other firms, people don't really talk that much to each other. It's more of a serious environment. It's more of like strict business wear. So it's really great for you to understand the culture of the firm, what are the values that are important to the firm. Again, that will affect whether you you know, your values align with the company as well. End of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope next time when you have an interview, you do have questions to ask. Please do not forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.